Good afternoon, good morning, everyone, depending on where you are. Welcome to another Networking Friday session. It has been a wonderful year so far, and it's going to keep getting better. Today, my name is João from the Air Center, and today we have with us a wonderful group of people from the Space Generation Advisory Council, which is an organization that functions worldwide with thousands of volunteer young members, and they will let you know all about them in a very short time. I'm not going to take their spotlight much longer. I'm going to pass the words to my dear friend, Andrew. Go ahead.
João, thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody. My name is Andrew Kurzrok. I'm the co-lead of the Commercial Space Project Group here at the Space Generation Advisory Council. We are excited, so excited to be here. As you'll hear more from all of the participants today, we're also a network. And the opportunity to join Networking Friday and get to know you all a little bit better, is share some of our work is truly exciting. So thank you for joining today. First, from all of us at SGAC, a big thank you to João and Jose Luis Mutino for their organization, support, vision, not only for organizing this event, but for the broader Networking Friday concept that gives us all a reason to be here together. And to you all as well for joining today. And as mentioned, I'm only one of the co-leads here in the Commercial Space Project Group. A huge debt of gratitude to my co-lead, Jose Ferreira, who unfortunately couldn't join in person today, but really the guidance and the vision for this event here today. So with all that, a huge amount of gratitude and excitement about the opportunity to be here. Just a few housekeeping notes before we go ahead and get started. In terms of logistics, we'll have 4 speakers today, or 4 segments, 5 speakers total, each about 15 to 20 minutes to talk about who we are as a group, and then some of the projects that we've conducted, and also about how folks can engage best with us and we with you. I think one of the most important things here is we don't want this to just be information transmit. We'd very much like to hear what you have to say. And to that end, please don't hesitate. Put your questions in the Q&A box below. All the presenters will see that. We'll have a Q&A session at the end. If you're joining via the WhatsApp group, if you're joining via YouTube, post your message there, post your messages to YouTube. We will do our best to answer as many as we can and really get a good conversation going today with everyone. So first, I'd like to introduce our first speaker. It's really my pleasure, my honor to introduce Davide Petrillo. Davide is the executive director here at the Space Generation Advisory Council. In this role, he is the day-to-day leader of SGAC and its thousands of members worldwide, as well as, I think, the chief culture keeper. He first joined SGAC as a member in 2016 and has had a number of roles across the organization, as an organizer for European Space Generation Week, as an organizer of the 2018 and the deputy manager for the 2019 Space Generation Congress, which brings together members from SGAC worldwide. And then most recently, Space Generation United last year, which was this incredible sort of innovative event that we held completely virtually due to the pandemic because the Congress couldn't take place in person. Professionally, he holds a master's in aerospace engineering from the University of Padova, and his professional experience includes time in London as a business manager at Alton, in Milan as a business analyst for Accenture. But throughout all of his experience, I think David has one of the most inclusive perspectives that one could imagine on what students and young professionals worldwide are aspiring to in the space industry, and as well as what support they need to be successful. So with that, let me turn it over to David for an overview of SGAC itself and the organization.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you so much. Just wanted to check if you can hear me.
Perfect.
Loud and clear. Perfect. Fantastic. So I will start to share my screen. If you can also tell me if you can see my screen, Andrew.
Yes, works perfectly.
Perfect. Fantastic. So let me start by saying that I feel old about all the things that I've done for SGAC since 2016, honestly. So, I mean, lots of things have happened since then. And I'm thinking about, all the opportunities that came out since 2016 when I joined SGAC. Honestly, it was a really fantastic opportunity. And again, it's my pleasure here to be together with all of you. I want to say, first of all, a big thank you for being part of this Networking Friday event. It's an honor on behalf of SGAC to be here and represent to you all who we are, what we do, and especially all different activities that we do from all over the world. So let me start by saying SGAC. So as you see, Space Generation Advisory Council, the question is who we are, what do we do? So these are our origins. So SGAC is a global, non-governmental, no-profit organization and network which aims to represent the university students and young space professionals aged between 18 and 35 years old to the United Nations Space Agency industry and academia. So we are the largest international global network representing students and young space professionals. And we have been conceived at the third United Nations Conference on the Exploration of Peaceful Uses of Outer Space in 1999. So in 2019, we celebrated our 20th anniversary. Now we are going to the 32nd year of SGAC, and we are growing much more. Because as you can see here, we have different purposes, as well as we have really a huge network that I'm going to show you later on. The main purpose of SGAC is really the following: make sure that our volunteers that are really connected from all over the world have the opportunity to raise the voice of different topics in the space field, with different activities that we do within the space field. And our objective is to create this volunteer base of university students and young professionals in the space sector who really have a passion for making a difference in the space sector, and make sure that we can connect our members to our sponsors and partners, experts, young space professionals, not only experts in the space field, in order to give them the opportunity to network, as well as to become, again, the next leaders of tomorrow and provide them a voice in global space policy topics. So, as I mentioned before, the network of SGAC is really huge. And you can see here from this map, because SGAC is represented in all the 6 regions of the United Nations. And especially we are represented at the moment in 168 countries, and we have more than 15,000 members connected from all over the world. So that's really a great opportunity for you to join SGAC. In the case you have not joined SGAC yet, I will going to show you later on what we do, in particular with the 5 pillars of SGAC that you can see here. So SGAC has the so-called 5 pillars that are the following ones. And these are the activities that we do together with SGAC. Because as you can see here, we do lots of different events that are going to be classified in global events, regional events, local events, and also online events that I'm going to show you later on. Then we also have project groups. As you heard from Andrew, Andrew is the leader of a project group, but we have more than one project. We have 10 project groups. And there I'm going to show you later on as well how many activities you can do as well with our project groups. Then, of course, professional development opportunities, so opportunity for you to grow in the space field, to network in the space field, as well as to become, again, the next space leaders of tomorrow. And as well as SGAC provides lots of scholarships, so opportunities to attend our events from all over the world, and of course, be part of this amazing network. And at the end, United Nations related activities. So I'm going to show you later on as well what we do, but SGAC has been conceived at the UNOOSA in 1999. And our purpose, our scope is really to make sure that this voice of the students and young professionals are going to be represented at the United Nations. And I'm going to show you this also more in details later on. But let's start from our events. So our events, as I mentioned, are classified in international events, global events, regional events, local events, and online events. So starting from the international events, one of our biggest events that we have every year is called the Space Generation Fusion Forum. The Space Generation Fusion Forum is an event that is always in conjunction with the Space Symposium in Colorado Springs. And there we have a selected group of 75 delegates, usually from more than 15 countries. And it's a really great opportunity to have discussions of key space and career topics, as well as connect with high-level international space leaders. And also here, great opportunity for you to network with our network of SGAC, as well as forum experts from all over the world. Usually SGAC as well provides 10 to 12 scholarships to attend our event, and this year's Space Generation Forum is going to be hybrid. So there will be the chance for delegates to go in Colorado Springs and attend the event on site, but there will be also the opportunity for people to connect online. And you can check it out on the website and check how you are going to be able to connect online and watch our live streams of the event of the Space Generation Fusion Forum that is going to happen at the end of August, from the 21st to the 31st of August, 2021. In addition, our flagship event, let me say, our biggest event of SGAC is called the Space Generation Congress. The Space Generation Congress is always held in conjunction with the ISC, the International Astronautical Congress, and in this case, we have more than 150 delegates connected from more than 50 countries. And also here, it's a really great opportunity for our delegates to connect with high-level speakers, experts from all over the world. We usually have around 30 to 40 sponsors that are joining our Congress from agencies, industries, academia, and so on. And usually here, we provide half of the delegates are coming from scholarships. So we provide lots of scholarships to come at our event. And so as you can see here, don't miss the opportunity to join our Space Generation Congress that is going to happen this year in Dubai. Also on the same line as the Space Generation Fusion Forum is going to be hybrid. So there will be opportunity to connect online and join our event, but also to be on site. And delegates applications at the moment are open to join our Congress in Dubai. So just check out our website, Space Generation Congress, and you can see how you can apply to become a delegate this year in Dubai. And applications will close at the end of June. So you still have some time to think about it. Another global event is called the SGX. The SGX, it's an event in conjunction with the satellite in Washington, D.C. And also here, we have a selected group of more than 200 delegates, more or less, and it's more like a TEDx style. So it's like an event that brings together young professional, industry experts, government leaders to discuss in preparing the issues and innovative ideas in a really exciting way. It's a really engaging discussion situation. It's really a wonderful event. It's a one-day event, and this year is going to happen on September the 7th. Again, in Washington, D.C. And also here, registration are open. So please check out our website. And if you would like to be part of this amazing event, please send your application. Then, as I mentioned, we have our global events, but we also have regional and local events. So we have regional events on the 6th region of the United Nations. So every year we have, for example, the European workshop, we have the African workshop, the Middle East workshop, and so on. And we do also local events that are specifically on specific country, that it can be SG Italy, SG France, SG India, and so on. And also in this case, for the regional workshop, it's a 2-day workshop. For the local events, it's a 1-day workshop, and the focus is always on regional space issues or national space issues. And also, this is also an opportunity for you to think about organizing an event in your country or in your region, because if you check out on this link, you can also organize your event with SGAC. And there is an application form in which there are lots of different requirements we ask you to fill. And you can also apply and organize your event with SGAC. So we really strongly encourage you to send out your application. It could be an online event, it could be an on-site event, it could be an hybrid event, and SGAC will be there to support you in the best way as possible. And that's, in fact, another way of doing our events, because as you can see here, SGAC does also partner and endorse events. So we collaborate also with different sponsors and partners to do events together. But last but not the least, we do also webinars and online events. So as you can see here, since the beginning of the pandemic, SGAC changed strategy, and we did most of the year 2020, lots of online events and webinars. So just to give you some statistics, SGAC has done until now more than 120 webinars, and we connected more than 11,000 participants connected from more than 130 countries. So also here, you can organize your webinar. If you would like to organize a webinar together with us and together with sponsors or partners, you can just really click on the website and see how you can run your webinar with SGAC. So we really want to see your ideas and applications within, again, our website. So that was for our events. As mentioned before, our second pillar are the project groups. I'm not going to talk a lot about our project groups because then Andrew later on will tell you a bit more specifically. But you can see here, SGAC has 10 different project groups. So let's say that you are passionate, I don't know, about near Earth objects or space law and policy or space exploration or space medicine. You can join our project groups and be part of this amazing community of different project groups in which you can really focus on specific topics that you like and work together to deliver lots of different projects. So that it's really an exciting opportunity for our members that again will make you benefit and network and grow within the space field in the best way as possible. So this is regarding our project groups, but as mentioned, we also have scholarships because usually every year SGAC provides about 150 scholarships and grants to join our different events from all over the world. So as you can see here, there is also the link. So there is a link in which you can see our scholarships. Every month we publish lots of different scholarships to attend our events. And more specifically, you will see in a couple of days, lots of scholarships for the Space Generation Congress in Dubai will come out. So please do not hesitate to check it out and see if you would like to apply and get the scholarship to come at our events within SGAC. So another collaboration that we do, for example, is the Space for Youth competition that is in collaboration with the UNOOSA, the United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs. And we started in 2018. We did now the third edition in 2021. And it's a really fantastic competition. It's an essay competition where usually it's on the topic of the climate change. And we received, for example, this year, more than 300 essays from all over the world. And we gave the opportunity to 3 winners to attend a US space camp in Alabama, thanks to the US Permanent Office in Vienna. And it's a really great opportunity as well for you to apply for different scholarships. And this is an example that we do, for example, together with the US. As mentioned before, so another important pillar, of course, is the professional development, because this is a volunteering position and you can be part of our fantastic community. So on our website, we have really tons of vacancies that we publish every month, and you can see there, and you can see that you can apply through really different positions within SGAC. You can manage finances, you can organize an event, be part of organizing team, be part of our fantastic HR team, be part of a legal team. You can really be part of our fantastic community, and you will see it will really change your life, not only from a professional point of view, but also from a personal point of view. So please check out our vacancies and you will see how many opportunities are available every month through SGAC. In addition, of course, SGAC will not be possible thanks to our partners and sponsors. And usually every year we have more than 100 sponsors that are joining us and supporting our organization through our events. And so you can also check out some of our major partners. You can see here, for example, the European Space Agency, Lockheed Martin, NASA, Airbus, the Luxembourg Space Agency, and so on. But you can also check it out on our website, who are all our sponsors and partners that are supporting us every year. In addition, there is also a mentorship program. So with SGAC, we have a program called Mentorship Program, and the aim of the program is to connect SGAC members with a pool of experts and mentors that would like to support our students and your professionals with the space field. For the mentorship program, we really want to provide support and guidance to continue and advance their careers in the future. So you can also check out our website on the mentoring part, and you can see there what are all the opportunities for you to join our mentoring program and be part of our pool of experts that we have within SGAC. So, as mentioned before, this is also the last pillar of SGAC, that are the UN-related activities. So, as mentioned, we do events, we do scholarships, we do project groups, we do really lots of different activities. And all these activities are reported at the UNOOSA, specifically at the COPUOS. So, because SGAC has a permanent observer status at the United Nations Committee on the Peaceful Use of Outer Space, and SGAC every year presents the outcomes of all our conferences, projects, and so on at the Scientific and Technical Subcommittee of COPUOS, Legal Subcommittee of COPUOS, and COPUOS General Assembly. So that's why the main reason why SGAC is also in Vienna, because it's really close to the United Nations, and we support them in really providing the voice of students and young professionals in the space field. So at the end, as you see, there are really lots of different activities at SGAC. So concluding, I want to say, why then do you want to become a member of SGAC? So as I said, you really have your say in top space issues in a broader setting. You can get access to scholarship. You can network and access to potential employers. You can build your leadership skills. You can connect with future international space leaders. You can join our mailing list, newsletter, and so on. And the membership is free. So you just really need to join our website, connect, and be a member of SGC and be part of our fantastic community. So as I mentioned, really, you can register yourself on the SGC webpage. You can be informed. You can subscribe to our mailing list. You can join our Slack channel. You can connect with your national point of contact in your country. And again, keep a look of our vacancies, opportunities, scholarships, events, and so on. Because at the end, SGC, as you can see here, is really a huge network, and it's a really fantastic network that I'm proud to say it's really a fantastic one. And I'm really proud to say that our volunteers are fantastic. And it's really wonderful to say that it's a really great space family. So with this, I wanted to say a big thank you. And of course, if you have any question, I'm happy to answer. Thank you, Andrew.
David, a big thank you to you. That was phenomenal. A reminder to everyone, questions, comments, don't hesitate to put it in the Q&A. We will have time at the end to circle back to David and all of the presenters with questions and further discussion. So thank you. I'm now going to do a short discussion on the CSPG, the Commercial Space Project Group, really to set the scene a little bit for our stars from the CSPG, two of our projects with Imane, Harlee, and Alina. And I'll let them describe a little bit more about their projects when they begin. But I think as a foundation to share a little bit about the project group and how we think about innovation and growing our community. So let me just get the share started quickly. Oh. All right, if somebody can just give me a quick thumbs up that the screen share is working.
It is.
Perfect, thank you. So as David mentioned, there are 10 project groups, and you can see the logos for each of them. For somebody looking to join SGAC, we cover the waterfront across the project groups of different ways that you could get involved, and all the different elements of what space means in orbit, but equally or perhaps even more importantly, what it means for us back down here on Earth. And so the Commercial Space Project Group is formed, has been around a little over 2 years now, and is really dedicated to the commercial and financial aspects that can cut across all other elements of spaceflight. How do the market incentives change what research we pursue? How can we use decreasing launch costs to enable new types of applications that we had never seen before? There's a phrase in Silicon Valley that software eats the world. Ultimately, what people care about is data and insight, even if we think that rocket vehicles and satellites are really, really cool. So, the space-based sensors are critical. And at the same time, what do we do with the data that we get from them? So we have about 75 members of our Commercial Space Project Group worldwide. From the grand group of 15,000 active SGAC members, there's a much smaller number who's really chosen to dig in and be active on this particular topic. You can see the goals. We write these goals very broadly. Our intent is to be able to provide a broad platform for our membership to go explore what gets them most excited. I think one of the things that David shared was that there are so many ways to work your way through the SGAC network. The project groups are one element of it, to build discrete topics that we can work around, we can write papers about, we can attend events about, we can put on events about, across the sort of the broad elements of commercial space. So I'd like to share just briefly some of our current projects, two of which we're going to dive much more deeply into. But a key element for us as a component of SGAC in support of the wider UN Sustainable Development Goals is to understand how space business develops and unfolds in developing countries. What are the key factors for attracting foreign investment? How do we develop in a a sustainable way business that meets local needs and involves local leaders? And then also, how do we take advantage of the full broad SGAC network with a wide-ranging analysis of the different factors involved? Because as you saw, we have members all around the globe in every single time zone. When we talk about what development looks like, we have members for whom they would be the recipients and the leaders in all of these ideas that we're taking forward for new space businesses. So that's the first one. And the next presentation will be from Imane to dive in much greater depth about that. We also look farther out, and this is a topic that is one that we're looking sort of on the horizon for us to go to. So to give you a sense of what we're doing here now, as well as what we're doing in the future, we see quite a bit of interest in commercial space resources. There has been a significant amount of effort and discussion at the United Nations through forums such as UNCOPUOS about how do you manage property rights and how do you manage the economics of space-based assets. When we talk about things like in situ resource extraction on the moon, on Mars, what is the legal, the policy, and the ethics framework around those activities? It's a great area for us and one that we're certainly interested and excited about, partnering with outside organizations as well as with other parts of SGAC on how do we explore it and what does that mean, not necessarily for the major industry actors who are leading the charge today, but the voice of the younger generation who is going to live under these policies for the next 20, 30, 50, 75 years. One of the things I'm dialing in today from Washington, D.C. in the United States is there's quite a bit of discussion about think tanks, which are great places to come up with new ideas. And some of them have actually rebranded that they're not just think tanks, they're also do tanks. They don't just think about it, then they go and they do things to get things done. In that similar model, we have adopted an idea accelerator that we don't just explore new ideas in space development, in commercial resources, deep space resources, but how do we help our members really formulate and advance those ideas? And Alina and Harlee will talk in much greater detail about a really, really exciting framework and concept that they're developing for idea acceleration, not just within Commercial Space Project Group, but for the entire SGAC membership, and certainly for everyone who's tuning in. We'd love to hear how you think it might apply to your missions, your groups as well. And then the last element is outreach. For us, just critically important to learn more and share our ideas globally, as well as we can only be as effective in our first missions as everyone else is who can share ideas with us and help influence us. So whether they're webinars, podcasts, we're starting a newsletter this coming month to be able to disseminate ideas more broadly. And we're also highly supportive of local events. We've talked about things like local hackathons. For those of you who are familiar with the NASA Space Apps Challenge, we've explored how can we host a CSPG local edition in support of NASA Space Apps Challenge. So lots of different ways to get involved. And I think sort of to take a step back from what we do, one of the things that gets me most excited as a co-lead is how hard it is to schedule meetings. And that's a good difficulty because it means we're working across time zones, people dialing in, not just around the Atlantic basin, but from the West Coast of the United States, all the way through Manila, Philippines, down into New Zealand. And that challenge is a good one to have to face, even if it means some folks have to get up early and stay up late, because it means that it's truly a representative global membership. And I think that's just, for me, has been one of the most incredible and powerful parts of the project group, is it's not theorizing about how something like this might affect our members in India. Go ask them, go include those project group members or any other element of a global dynamic. There are folks on the ground who are truly leading the change in their local context, which just takes it from the sort of the think tank idea into the do of what does it actually take to get something done. But I should also clarify and really emphasize, and a dynamic is it's a global volunteer membership, and it's something we think quite a bit about Jose and myself in managing the group. Everybody who's a member of SGAC and the Commercial Space Project Group are members because they want to be there. And it's all, in the time outside our work hours, our school hours, our family hours. And sort of with that, I think comes a responsibility to make sure that we're cultivating the right type of community. And I think first of all is member engagement. Everybody, if you come into a project, what's so important is to have a positive experience. If we set a goal, to go off and achieve it. And in any context, certainly every project starts with this great excitement. And then how do you sustain that and maintain that as things get tough, as you can't find all the data you're looking for, as the deadlines get closer, as work gets busier. And there are a number of things that we do in terms of how do we protect that small community feel to ensure that we have really, really strong member engagement and just create a positive experience, both for our members as well as our partners that we work with. And I'll share a little bit more on partners next. The second element is relational flexibility. People's lives get busier and they get easier, and they find that over a course of age 18 to 35, when they become an SGAC alumni, there might be many different ways that they want to engage with a project group, not just CSPG. This would apply for any of the 10 project groups. And that's okay. And one of the things that we build upon is ensuring that we can have some relational flexibility, that today you can get really involved and lead a project and spend hours and hours a week cultivating something new and presenting it to COPUOS. And then maybe you start a PhD program and need to step back for a year or two because life got busy, or there are young ones at home. And then, as time allows, as interest allows, getting back involved again is a really important part of how we think about our broad community in a commercial space project group. And then lastly is global equity, really ensuring that one of the powers of things like Zoom is that we can convene individuals from all over the world. It's really nice to be able to get together in person, locally, regionally, and then to zoom out and say that this commercial space project group is for everyone, for all SGAC members worldwide. And that's a really critical priority for us in terms of how we go about recruiting our members and developing projects. So I think one of the last things I'll just share is just when folks ask, how do I get involved? There's really two ways to get involved certainly with the commercial space project group, but I think to a certain extent, this could be extensible across SGAC. So members, to be a member of the commercial space project group, you have to be a member of SGAC. Generally, that means you're less than 35, between 18 and 35 years old. And what I mean by a person isn't glib, but it's for individuals as opposed to corporations, nonprofits. It's really about the individual themselves, bringing sort of everything about who they are into the project group. Just as with SGAC, it's free to join, and we welcome contributions at any level in terms of, hey, attend a webinar, lead a project group, wherever you are. We'd like to find the right way to engage with you. And so that's sort of the one element. The second would be partners. We welcome partnerships with folks of any age. Whether you are young or have more experience, we would love to work with you. And you here doesn't just mean people. We would really enjoy working with nonprofits, corporations, any sort of other entity, or individuals as well, just interested individuals, for how we can come up on things together. Generally, collaboration is each side carries their own costs. So for us, it's the volunteer work of membership. For our partners, it's them covering their own costs of participation. And one of the things that we find getting to that first element of really strengthening engagement is, let's find a scope. What would be really exciting to work on together? And as we complete one thing, let's work on the next and keep defining the pathways. I think you saw on the first slide, we've had really successful engagements with organizations like Virgin Galactic and others in the past, and certainly would welcome more conversation about that going forward. But really, that is just the framework for where we start. I think the most important thing here is get involved, and then rather than just talking about it, let me show a little bit about it by introducing the first of our two project groups. So let me go ahead and introduce her here. So Imane El Khantouti is a space systems engineer and a research development and projects manager. She's currently developing 2 CubeSat payloads at the Centre Spatial Universitaire de Grenoble at the University of Grenoble, Alpes in France. Imane works to find solutions to African socioeconomic issues, from drinkable water to disaster management, to land management and education. And she works throughout space applications. One of the most exciting things that I've seen in working with Imane is the emphasis on adding entrepreneurship into the conversation as Africa as a spacefaring market. Her work has gained significant recognition, perhaps no surprise, including as one of the 10 best Africans under 30 in the space industry and one of the 6 most innovative young Arabs. She also serves as the national point of contact for Morocco within SGAC. Today, Imane is going to be describing the work of the Spacefaring Africa Initiative, which she leads as the project manager. The project aims to identify key factors that attract investment and evaluate the business readiness level of various countries in the African space ecosystem. So with that, Imane, let me turn it over to you. Thank you for joining. We're really excited to watch.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm Imane El Khantouti, and on behalf of my project team, I would like to present our project, the Spacefaring Africa, the commercial space industry and its readiness for innovation-driven investments. It was done as a part of research carried out by the commercial space group, CSPG, of the Space Generation Advisory Council. Next slide, please. So I would like to start with a timeline of the development of the project, which was a series of projects together. It started in the end of 2018, where a project team within CSPG raised the fact that there was no official human orbital market and entrepreneurial potential evaluation for most African countries. The idea was to report the progress, competitiveness, and investment readiness of some selected African countries, followed by an opinion-based questionnaire that was sent to national points of contact in Africa, upon which we used the data for space business readiness level index, which I will explain in details in the following slides. Next slide, please. This study addresses one of the core topics of the CSPG, which aims at defining the enabling factors to foment space business opportunities worldwide and pave the way to a thriving entrepreneurial ecosystem in developing countries. Our long-term goal is to identify the key factors that attract either national or foreign investment to developing countries, exploiting opportunities brought to the game by the new space. Achieving such conclusions will allow us to raise awareness on the topic and encourage the development of emerging economies. To that end, we involved the SGAC network, which is, as Davide said earlier, a broad community of around 15,000 people around the world, which are students and young professionals, to provide their view on the topic and disseminate the results. In this ambitious effort, we have chosen Africa as the first case study to propose and test our methodology, as it is currently encompassing some of the brightest efforts to succeed in the global space market. The continent is a home of 54 emerging countries, which have emerging economies, and it is one of the continents that is regarded as the new frontier, which means it is full of raw potential, yet ripened for wealth creation and expansion. Next slide. please. Okay. Many of the African countries are making new efforts to keep an active view of launch and space research and developments towards innovation and creation of new business ventures. But sadly, it is far-fetched for most of those countries because of the national level of space. That's the reason why we are conducting this study and trying to test the space business readiness level on those countries. Next slide. I'll start by explaining the human orbital market study. It was based upon a lot of data from the World Bank, from the ease of doing business, policy frameworks, partnerships. And we tried to compare few selected countries, which were Nigeria, Ghana, Morocco, Mauritius, Sudan, and Tunisia, with the BRICS countries, which are Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Because of their emergence, because of like their rapid emergence during the last years. So it was only interesting to see how their development can give a new roadmap for roadmap, or we can call it also like a blueprint for African countries. The methodology was based upon a mix between the Portal Diamond model and Ginawali and Fogel's key dimension of environments for entrepreneurship. Next slide. And then we then reached out to people in the field to get their inside view regarding the space sector in their home countries, to get a better sense of their readiness to fix innovation-driven investments. We analyzed infrastructures, capacity building efforts, and overall states of space activities using a hybrid approach that gathered both qualitative and quantitative informations. And we formulated then the space business readiness level. This should be an indicator to conditions for fruitful investment in the space sector to take place in any given country. We created a questionnaire targeting the young generation to get their first view on a national space ecosystem. We did so by leveraging the SGAC network, reaching out to distinctive representatives within the SGAC community, the African one. The questionnaire was opinion-based, and it had many open and closed questions focusing on the country's space activities, transportation networks, the infrastructure, and capacity building. The data is analyzed using a mixed approach, which firstly was a dual qualitative assessment carrying out resorting to the SWOT analysis, focusing on the country's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, which was then crossed by STEEP or PEST analysis concerning the political, economic, sociocultural, technological, and environmental aspects. This is then translated to a quantitative scale, which yielded to the space business readiness level. Next slide. For the data analysis for the human orbital market, according to Michael Porter's theory, there are 4 stages for the development on each nation's sources of advantages. There are factor-driven stages, investment stages, innovation stage, and wealth-driven stage. And as you can see, and compared with like the BRICS, most of the African countries are either in transition or fully at the stage of investment-driven stage. What is an investment-driven stage? It shows the readiness to increase the productivity through investment in infrastructural development used for imported technology. Competitive advantages at this stage is due to production efficiencies and performance improvement nationwide. And as you can see, for like the BRICS countries and for 2 of the African countries, which are South Africa and Nigeria, they are on transition to innovation-driven stage. And the innovation-driven stage is the improvement on foreign supplied technologies. Nations at this stage invest more in their educational sector, research and development. Next slide, please. So for the ease of doing business indexes in the selected countries, it varies due to the differences in the laws, the policies, and the procedures followed. Mauritius is exceeding all the countries from BRICS, and it is ranked first on the African level, while Sudan is the last in the chosen list. For the BRICS part, the Russian Federation is first, while Brazil is last. We also did a comparison based on the GDP of 2018, and it shows the contrast between the BRICS countries and the African countries. China is, of course, ranked first worldwide, followed by India as the second in the BRICS level and the third worldwide. And then and minimum for BRICS countries was South Africa. For the African level, Nigeria comes first, and it is 24th worldwide. And the minimum for the African countries was Mauritius. For the population, we are talking about population because of like workforce that these numbers can bring us for higher foreign investment. Like we can see that China and India are leading worldwide. And for the African case, Nigeria is leading the ranking with a broad population. Mauritius has the least population with an amount of roughly 1 million. Next slide, please. Then we went and checked out the net inflow and foreign direct investment, which shows the difference between the African countries and the BRICS countries, as we can go from astronomical sums for China and to very small investment sums of like $0.44 billion for Mauritius, for example. Next slide, please. From another side, we tried also to see the amount of scientific and technology data that we could find on the BRICS countries, along with the selected African countries. China is leading in the ranking of journals, publications, and research and development expenditures, which is due to the high number of population and interest in an innovation-driven economy. It is followed by India for the journal publications, and by Brazil for its expenditures on research and development. South Africa is last in the ranking for both categories. And it is followed by Morocco for research and development expenditure, while Tunisia is followed for like the scientific and the technical journals publications. Mauritius came last in research and development expenditure and the amount of publication rankings due to the number of the populations. Next slide, please. So, following this study, a few members of the SGAC Africa were organizing the Global Conference for Space in Emerging Countries in Marrakesh in Morocco in April 2019. And they had the opportunity to meet experts, African experts, or experts from emerging countries or more developed countries space-wise. And where they gave them few open and closed questions around whether they know about like the human orbital market research, if they see if they can see how can Africa invest more in the space industry, if African countries can be a good starting point, have a good starting point on that, and also if they knew about like the African Space Agency. So we got 30 responses from 13 different countries, and almost 80% was from Africa, and the rest was from non-African countries. and 14 over 30 responders had no affiliations to the space agencies, but were space enthusiasts, and 16 over 30 responders were decision makers. Next slide, please. As for the questionnaire, which was done last year and sent to many African countries, members from SGAC, it was shared via emails, and we counted with the participations of more than 15 countries. So we see a lot of diversity, and with a rate of response of little over 40% from like the African members. And also like the answers per country were not single entry. And now we will briefly analyze the results we got. Next slide, please. So we started by international partners, and the outcome of the question showcases the major economic and trading interests in Africa. With China being the largest trading partner, it is no surprise that we see it being perceived as the major international partner, with the space sector benefiting from bilateral agreements. Then there is Europe and Japan that come close, in the second level for the African development. Both entities provide scholarships to African nationals, enabling knowledge and technology transfer. Next slide, please. One of the main indices showing the implication of countries in STEM fields is the number of women actually working in the domain. For countries with perceived poor research conditions, summing up to 9 out of 16 of our list, the large majority of women are sadly not implicated in STEM jobs. Next slide. For the quality of research is a key enabler for technology transfer and sustainable innovation-driven growth. Most of the opinions gathered in the questionnaire pointed out to perceived poor research conditions in Africa. Notwithstanding, the efforts to change that reality are well noted, as the African countries are now increasing the numbers of startup incubators throughout the years. And as expected, better research conditions promote fruitful technology transfer, which enables the establishment of more incubators. Next slide. So we also checked the transportation infrastructure, which is one of the main indices of the readiness of a country to host foreign investment. African countries count with several world-class infrastructures when it comes to international connectivity, as their economies primarily seek foreign investment. We can see a lot of countries spending more, investing more in airports and maritime ports infrastructures, and we could also find out that the condition of airports and maritime ports is way better than the railways and roadways, because railways and roadways are just for national-wide connectivity, while airports and maritime ports are for international. And note that the results we got here was also from countries that don't have any access to oceans. So, this is just so you know. Next slide, please. In the end, and after gathering all the data we have got, we could classify few countries by whether they are or they are not favorable to host an innovation-driven economy. So there are 7 countries that are ready. Then 4 which are improving, and 5 that are sadly scarce. But what's good is like all of those countries have a very positive and are just like agile on anything related to investing in space, and this can be seen from the enthusiasm that we have like within SGAC Africa, and everyone wanting to change things and going for partnerships. Next slide, please. So to summarize our findings, it is fair to conclude that the economic partners tend to be the key supporters for further efforts in the space sector. In our case here, we could see that China is taking the lead in the case study and followed by Europe and Japan. As for to the infrastructures, we conclude that the ones promoting international connectivities such as airports and maritime ports are firstly developed in Africa, although demanding a larger initial investment. And lastly, the SBRL suggests that the majority of African countries present attractive factor to promote innovation-driven space business developments. And as for our future work, we aim to enlarge this case study to a broader number of countries in Africa because of like all the differences in the economic level between 54 countries. And then try to get people that are like and local decision makers in the same areas to be a part of our study. Next slide, please. Please, if you're interested into joining the team, please do not hesitate. We would happily have you on board. If so, please contact us on our email. It is on the slide here. And thank you so much for your attention. And thank you, Andrew, for having me here.
Well, thank you. That was phenomenal. Really fascinating research and really exciting. I saw that the journal article was forthcoming, and hopefully that's something we can share with the network as it's available. So thank you again, and I'm sure there'll be more in the Q&A.
Okay, thank you.
So let me go ahead and introduce our final presentation here, which is going to cover the accelerator. So let me welcome our two final presenters, Alina Vizireanu and Harlee Quizzagan. I'll introduce Alina first. Alina is a senior geospatial analyst and a strong advocate for education, gender equality, diversity, and inclusion in the geospatial and space sectors. And I think it's just in getting to know Alina, the fact that both of those are all in one sentence, her commitment to both of them equally is just astounding. Professionally, she holds a master's degree in geomorphology and cartography from the University of Bucharest, Romania, and she has been active in the private geospatial industry since 2006. Simultaneously, Alina develops Aventera, a startup focused on creating educational geospatial and Earth observation programs and offering mentoring, career coaching services, technical speeches, training, and workshops. She's also the membership manager worldwide for the Space Generation Advisory Council. Harlee Quizzagan is a Bachelor of Science in Physics graduate from the University of the Philippines. His background is designing unmanned aerial vehicles and working on traffic prediction, and other topics in machine learning and artificial intelligence. He's got a wide range of interests from future of technology. He leads a tech startup focused on the future and the integration of machine learning and AI with applications to urban development, renewable energy, smart cities, public health. In the space realm, he is currently the national point of contact for the Philippines and leads and participates in a number of projects across SGAC in commercial space, space education, and space exploration. His current work is focused on promoting and developing strategies for emerging space nations and global activities. And I think it also just can't go without saying that Harlee and Alina are two of the most infectiously enthusiastic people that I know. And I couldn't imagine two people better suited to help launch and drive an accelerator than the two of them. So it's really my pleasure to turn it over to them now to share a little bit about the work they've been doing.
Thank you so much, Andrew, for that really enthusiastic introduction about us as well.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. We're going to present our initiative or a project that we're currently developing and shaping, which is the Commercial Space Project Group's Pre-Accelerator program. So here with me would be me, Harley, and Alina, the co-project managers for this particular project. So the idea behind the Pre-Accelerator program is really these three things, which we find to be the unique value proposition of the program. And these are the things that we want to be focusing on as the values that we're going to give the cohort members for the Pre-Accelerator program. So one is, as we see here, the space-centric legal and IP rights protection mentorship. And the reason why we feel that this is really useful is because we've been talking to some newbie founders, as we call them, and a lot of them have really good ideas, but they're so fearful about sharing their ideas to potential investors or just to exchange ideas with a lot of other people, with the fear that, you know, I'm a newbie founder, and if I accidentally share this to someone with a lot of resources, they can just rip off my idea. And that fear tends to be counterproductive because it doesn't allow the exchange of inputs or insights as to how the idea can be further developed. And so as the Pre-Accelerator program looks into this, we want to be able to provide or come up with cohort members who are confident in sharing their ideas without fear of this being ripped off, because they are knowledgeable about the legalities and the IP protection rights that they can leverage as they share their ideas with other people. And another one is, as a main objective, as I guess, of the SGAC as part of the UNOOSA, is to look into the sustainable use of outer space. And so with the coming of the new space age, it is important that new ideas or new commercial space actors who will be playing into the field would have ideas that are not just sustainable but also commercializable. But the main point here is sustainability is a form of future-proofing your idea. It's not just about generating some money or generating marketability out of your idea, but you also have to look into the sustainability of that as you go into the new space age, as we call it. And that's a form of making sure that your idea will go into the future. And another one is a solution that we want to provide potential founders or startup space entrepreneurs regarding market validation. A lot of the challenges that founders often encounter is the challenge in validating their idea or validating their market hypothesis. And as you have already understood from all the previous presentations, SGAC is a very large global network. And we want to be able to use that to help startup founders have a very quick access to these network of space professionals that they can quickly tap into to confirm their market hypothesis or perform a very quick market validation, which is very hard to do when you're just on your own without a global network of space professionals. And so that's the unique value proposition of the program that we look into providing our cohort members. So now in terms of the structure of the program, what we currently drafted is a 5-week duration for the entire Pre-Accelerator program, and they have a weekly sprint. So members or cohort members will be provided learning materials and mentorship sessions, along with requiring them to come up with weekly deliverables that we can get into detail later on. Also, another one is the Zero to Hero mentorship, wherein we want to sustain a relationship between the mentor-mentee in such a way that a certain mentor will choose a favorite idea of his or her, and the choice is not just based on commercializability or marketability. It's just going to be to give chances or equal chances to these ideas, diverse ideas from different startup founders or probably entrepreneurs. We want the mentors to choose these solely based on the soundness of the idea or the potential of the idea of being market commercializable. And so what they do is they accompany those teams from day one until graduation. So they're not just going to come in anytime they want and then just give bits of advices. They're going to journey with the entire team, so they get a whole picture as to how the idea gets to mature from zero to hero, as we call it. Then, of course, since we're a pre-accelerator program, we want that the graduates of the program would have this accelerator jump, which means that after they become part of the program, they're going to be very confident into going into a much bigger accelerator or incubator program, because they are now ready, they have the confidence, they have a solid idea as was done or gone through with the mentors, with the 5 weekly sprints. And so to talk more detail about the weekly sprints that I've just previewed, let me give the floor to Alina to talk about the deliverables.
Thank you, Harlee, and you nicely presented absolutely our main idea, and so enthusiastically. Therefore, the project group here, so Commercial Space Project Group, wants to develop the entrepreneurial spirit within SGAC by brainstorming new space business and new space technical ideas for today's and tomorrow's societal problems. And we want to grow these ideas internally and further support them by offering guidance and team mentorship for international accelerators, competition, and funding progress. So therefore, as you can see here, the Pre-Accelerator program is proposed to be based on 5 weeks business core plan development from seed idea to business plan and product roadmap. Our cohort will go through a series of structured growth sprints and receive constant feedback on their progress at our weekly feedback sessions. Each feedback session lasts about 3 to 4 hours, so it's once a week, and is led by mentors as well by our probably for sure here Andrew, Jose will be part of, so our project co-leads who will share their advice on that week's topic. And our cohort members will receive feedback on their business plan as well as support on their analysis to solve any issues they are faced with. In addition to feedback sessions, they will also convene for group meetings and they can schedule as well office hours with local team or mentors. So a bit of overview of each week for every week. So orientation and visioning, they will be introduced to the program structure. The cohort will meet and start network, and they will have an initial pitch and validating their ideas with our mentors. And at the end of that week, they will receive feedback. The second and third week will be based for product development and mentoring. And here we start the nitty-gritty. So we will look into refining that problem to solve and its proposed solution. And as well, we establish the project team and define the project roadmap at the end of the week feedback session. The third week will be mainly on having the midweek pitch idea again, and we see the development of their program, of their development. And we will look into defining the value proposition. They will ace the reframe and solution, and we will start to create the canvas, the business model canvas. And we'll have again a feedback session. The fourth and the fifth week, as you see here, will be based for customer development and revenue, when they will look into building the revenue model based on one of the key assumed customer type. They will have interviews. They will start to understand how to create these risk assumptions. And the last week will be towards brand design, advertising, social, and as well looking into the overview of the IP and legal of the branding and logo, the name brainstorming. And what's more important as well is that their mentors, as well external mentors, will look into how they finalize the main plan. But what is most important here is that the mentors will propose improvements, or they will straight on empower them to go towards accelerators or funding schemes. But also those improvements will be for them to realize if they are ready to pivot. So, Harlee, I think next slide, please. On here is our question. Our question is that we need support. So how can you, those who are listening to our message, how can you support us? Because we need support from external mentors as well as GAC members that are already working in the space sector, that are fully established in the sector, but also we need institutional partners. And the next slide will be for Harlee to present you with the main mentoring structures we are thinking for.
Thank you, Alina. So as you have probably seen with the structure that was described a while ago, since this is a pre-accelerator program, most of it is centered around perfecting the idea. And so in this regard, we have 3 types of mentors that you can participate in as as a support. So one is a content mentor, which is centered around creating materials or learning materials for the cohort members that they're going to consume for the entire 5 weeks. So if you want to be a lecturer or a speaker for one of the pre-recorded video materials, as per the program syllabus, you can just choose. We can send you a copy of the program syllabus. You can choose that, oh, hey, I want to be able to share my expertise based on this particular topic. So we can co-produce a 10 to 15-minute video that's going to allow you to describe what are your advices, what are your thoughts on how the cohort members can go about that particular topic. And then another one is the weekly mentor. And so, as was mentioned by Alina a while ago, we do have a regular mentoring session wherein mentors and the cohort members go through the idea or the weekly deliverables and evaluate whether it's already satisfactory or there's a room for improvement and whatnot. So the weekly mentor only comes in at the end of the week, dedicate probably 1 to 3 hours or 4 hours of his or her time just to participate in the one-on-one mentoring sessions. And oh, hey, I've seen that your idea is like this. Maybe you can explore expanding this into this and that. Another type is the program mentor. We call it the program mentor because this mentor will stay with the team or with the idea for the entirety of the program for the 5 weeks. So what we envision here is a certain program mentor will choose 2 or 3 teams of his or her choice from the pool of candidates. And one of the things that we wanted to consider here is a lot of newbie founders, as based on initial interviews with potential cohort members, is that sometimes they get shut down. They just express their idea and they automatically get shut down by a particular person simply because based on their own personal experience, it's not marketable. We wanted to give equal chance to these ideas to somehow be an innovation and also a visionary. So we wanted program mentors to a little bit more about a visionary mentor and a venture capitalist kind of mentor, wherein they think about the potential of the idea and they also think about the marketability of the idea, not just one of them, so that these ideas, maybe they are not easily commercializable as of the moment, but they have a huge potential into the future. And so the program mentor allows, the structure for the program mentor allows these kinds of ideas to be accelerated or incubated throughout the program. So if you're listening right now and you want to be part of the team or the program, you can work with us as any of these 3 types of mentors. Or if you are part of a partner who is probably an accelerator or an incubator on their own, we are already looking for institutional partners as well. So of course, like we have here, we need help in giving birth to the new space, as we call it. So our program, the 5-week program, can act as a pre-filter to the cohort members of your own program, which means that the graduates that we offer to you as acceleration cohort members would be pre-filtered already because they have solidified the idea and the business models with us, which gives you a little bit more of a better opportunity into looking into other details of their idea. And then of course you can help them. You can help these graduates explore their feasibility, their timeline, commercializability, and the overall market potential. So being a mentor or being a partner of us as an institution would be really helpful in giving birth to this new space, as we call it, as part of the CSPG Pre-Accelerator program. So yeah, on that regard, if you want to know more about the program, maybe we can send the link up. We can send this link later on, so you can visit this link, CSPG-preaccelerator-webflow.io. So you can see here more details about the program that we've already pre-introduced, and also the syllabus. You can download the syllabus. So it's still a draft syllabus, which means that we are continuously revising it depending on the inputs from the mentors, because we value the mentors' inputs as well if they have a suggestion on how we can go about effectively forming or shaping these entrepreneurial ideas as part of the Pre-Accelerator program. Or if you have more questions or you want to be a mentor, as we've called out, you can reach to us on our email. So we've listed here. You can probably take a screenshot or take a photo of your screen right now, and then you can just send us an email and, hey, I wanna be part of your program as a mentor, or probably even as just a content creator and whatnot. So yeah, I hope that gives a very good overview of what the program is and what it intends to be. So yeah, thank you so much for listening.
Thank you as well.
Thank you to both of you. I am so excited to see how this evolves and accelerates things in the months and years ahead. If I could ask Davide and Imane to join back as well on screen. Thank you for adding questions into the chat. Just as a reminder, one more time, put questions into the chat, into the Q&A. If you're watching on YouTube, add something as a comment there. If you're part of a WhatsApp group, send your messages in. I think so. Thank you. We've got a bunch of feedback from the group. I think maybe let's start. David, we got a couple of questions about SGAC overall and how to get involved. And I think sort of maybe there's two of the specific ones that we had were someone from Brazil, Valendir, how do I get involved locally, particularly in Brazil? And I'll tie that together with Manuel from Sao Tome and Principe. How do small developing island states best get involved with SGAC? So maybe some of those questions. And then in general, you showed so much in so many different ways. Any advice for people on how to navigate a career and an experience within SGAC?
Okay, great questions. Let me start by the first one. So how can I get involved locally into the different networks of SGAC? So at SGAC, we are structured in different ways. So SGAC is divided into the 6 regions of the United Nations. So we are divided between North America and Central America, then we have South America, then we have Europe, Africa, Asia Pacific, and the Middle East. So those are the 6 regions, and for each region, we have 2 regional coordinators. So those coordinators are managing that specific regions and also different countries. So that's definitely the first thing I would say. So reaching out to the regional coordinators that you can check out on our website and ask them if they can put you in touch with the national point of contact. So the national point of contact are our representatives of our countries from all over the world. And Harlee is an example here because he's the one representing the Philippines. So he's the national point of contact of the Philippines. And I would say that I will give the floor as well to Harlee, saying how is your experience as national point of contact of the Philippines? So what do you usually do in your country for, again, the Philippine community? So that's the first question to answer. But Harlee, what's your experience as an influencer?
Thanks, Davide. So as part of my role as a national point of contact, really, people are reaching out mainly on not just how to get involved in SGAC, but the bigger question is for them to get involved in space activities. For example, in my country, a lot of the students and young professionals are like the usual dream of, oh, hey, I want to work in NASA, I want to work in ESA and stuff like that. But it's sort of like a far-fetched dream for them, but they still want to get involved in the global space activities. And as a national point of contact, it's my role to offer particular opportunities, for example, opportunities within and without SGAC in which they can start building their space career as we say it. So a lot of the people, space young professionals and students that reached out to me, I just directed them to, hey, you might wanna get involved in SGAC, you want to start with the project groups, you want to go to the events and network there, and then find out people or projects that you can get involved in to get started in global space activities. And so, yeah, that's usually how I go about the things as a national point of contact. Yeah, and of course, leading the events that supports the mission of SGAC to spread awareness with space and to build capabilities in these regards. So yeah, hope that helps.
Yeah. No, thank you so much, Harlee. And also we have Imane as well here, that is the national point of contact of Morocco. So what's your experience then in Morocco? What do you do for your local?
Actually, for Morocco, first things first, we as well, like as Philippines, we don't really, for us, our space program is only about Earth observation. And I know a lot of people that want to get involved into it. So one of the things that they would love to do is to start by projects, and where I suggest like go into the project team groups and getting involved with the space projects. Sometimes we also organize like hackathons, like Act in Space. I also, like in the beginning of my term, my first task was to actually organize with an African team the Global Conference for Space in Emerging Countries of IAF. We had like a special session for like the youngest generation and the young professionals. So that was my very first experience in SGAC, and it was one of the ones that impacted me the most. And we also got to exchange with many students and young professionals from Morocco and from African countries. So mainly we do a lot of events and try to get people involved into the space industry. There is a lot of people that would love to go further and further in the industry, and also, for my part in Africa, we also try to conduct research works such as Space Fair in Africa, where with the whole network, we try to exchange and see how we can help each other, because partnership is one of our main goals in the region. I believe it is for the other regions also, but we love to work together in SGAC.
Fantastic. And so you see, so we just took 2 countries, so 2 examples, but you can see how many activities are happening in all our countries of SGC, I mean, connected with SGC. So there are really lots of opportunities, and they also share with you their experiences, because this is what I would say. I heard from lots of SGC members, and this is also answering the second question, that SGC is a really life changer. I mean, not only professionally, but also personally. And you will see this. It's incredible. I mean, you really get in touch with lots of amazing members. And really, what is really the nice thing of SGC is our network, because thanks to our network, you can really get connected, not only with our members, with our experts, with our sponsors, with our partners. I mean, I can share my experience. My first ISC was in Jerusalem in 2015, and I didn't know everything about SGC. So when I arrived there in Jerusalem in the ISC, there was the SGC booth, and they said, oh, okay, what's SGC? So they told me, SGC is a fantastic community. You can do this, you can do that. So I said, okay, I want to be part of that. And in 2016, I joined my first Space Generation Congress in Guadalajara. And I remember there was the manager of the Congress there making the speech. And in my mind, I said, okay, I want to arrive at that point. And so after 3 years, I did lots of volunteering experiences. I did a European workshop, local events. I volunteered a lot for SGC. And in 2019, I arrived to be the deputy manager in Washington. And then I got as well the opportunity to become then the executive director of SGC. So again, it's a really fantastic opportunity, and really you can check out on the different opportunities I mentioned, the vacancies, project groups, events, and so on. There are really lots of ways to get involved with us. So you just need to check out our website and see how you can make it happen, in addition to get in touch with your national point of contact as well as regional coordinators.
Yeah. David, thank you. Maybe one quick follow-up on that one. What do you do if your country doesn't have a point of contact, perhaps? Maybe if you're the first?
I see Imane that did like this. So yeah. What do you do, Imane?
You become the FPOC for your country. It's the easiest thing to do, as long as you have enthusiasm and will to do more for the space industry or for SGAC. Go ahead. This is what I did, actually.
That's correct. That's correct. Great. So you will see on our vacancies website, we open the MPOC vacancies 4 times per year. So you will check it out. So please check it out. It's really 4 times per year, and you can see if there are vacancies available in your country's MPOC, and then you can definitely apply and be part of it.
Yeah, thanks. And we're getting a couple of questions sort of around age limits. How do I find out a little bit more? To be a member, the ages are between 18 and 35. We proudly have an alumni community for those who have aged out, but as an SGAC member is those ages. And then I think in terms of getting involved, and I think we can certainly share the presentation. David had the links. Register, super easy registration online. And then that takes you into sort of the secure password protected area that will have information on who your national point of contact is, if you don't, who your regional coordinator is, how to get in touch with the executive management team, people like David, who can answer all questions, getting involved related. David, anything else or anybody else to sort of add on just how you even begin to become a member?
No, that's correct, Andrew. And also in addition, if you are above 35 years old, there is the alumni community, but you can also be part of our mentorship program. So within the mentorship program, you can become a mentor and you can support our community of SGAC members from 18 to 35 years old. So you can also apply and become a member.
Thanks. And speaking of the members, we've got one in the audience. So I have a brief correction. A thank you to Isabel Pessoa Lopez. Misspoke in terms of the length of the commercial space project group. It has a long history, all the way back to the first Space Generation Congress in 2002. The February 2020 that I was referring to was a relaunch that we had. Sort of as the groups, as SGAC goes on and expands, the project groups also have lives, but also important to recognize the time that there was before and sort of the long history and heritage. So thank you, Isabel, for that correction. A question for Alina and Harlee from Marcelo in Brazil. Does the Pre-Accelerator program cover Brazil? How can we participate?
Thank you for the question, Harlee, as well. Do join me. Well, it covers for now, it will cover SGAC members. So if you are registered on our platform and apply, of course, we haven't yet opened the application for the ideas. We are going to present that on our website, and as well we'll have a lunch for the platform fully. Now we are having a call for more mentors to participate, but for applications will be probably in a couple of weeks. Important is to be a member. At the moment we open up for our SGAC members. Thank you.
So just to add to that, so reiterate that be a member of SGAC since it's free anyways. So this will be like your entry point, and then you can subscribe to the mailing list, and then you'll probably get updated with when we launch the application for this. So as easy as being an SGAC member, and then you're free to apply for the Pre-Accelerator program.
Yeah, thanks to both of you for that one. Imane, a couple questions about the line of research that you and your team are working on. The first one was from Reem in Egypt. Can you share a little bit more about why Egypt wasn't included in the data, or some of the other African countries, sort of the 54 available, to report on those that you reported on themselves?
Actually, on the first half of the research, we sadly didn't have anyone on the team from Egypt to do an extensive work on that. It is unfortunate because Egypt is one of the leading countries in the space industry in Africa, and Egypt will also host the African Space Agency headquarters. But on the second, we could reach out also to the Egyptian MPOCs and one of the RCs of the Middle East. So they could be a part of the research for SF4 Space Business Readiness Level Index, and they are ready and they are like favorable for space business investments. Actually, according to our study, of course. But like for the first half, they weren't involved, but the second they were.
Awesome, thank you. And a similar question around some of the research outcomes and sort of the methodology design. When you talk about the space sector in Africa, this is a question from Ashley Otu. There's sort of the different elements. Can you talk more about upstream hardware, launch sites, technology, as opposed to downstream Earth observation? What's sort of the scope of space development in Africa?
Actually, for launch sites, as we all know, like the launch is for the moment only exclusive for few launching sites in the world. But for Africa, I mean, there is potential for Africa, of course, because we have all the environmental requirements to have that. But mostly where like the space industry is going to in Africa is to downstream Earth observation, telecommunication applications, and so forth. The manufacturing of satellites themselves, there are few nations that have started already manufacturing their own satellites, but some of them are still being customers for big companies. But overall, I hope I answered the question. But overall, it's all about like the space applications, which are the ones with the greatest potential for emerging countries, especially for social economic problems.
Yeah, thanks, Imane. That's really helpful. And then maybe the sort of the last question on this theme, maybe Imane, start with you, but then open it up to the group writ large. There's a couple of questions sort of grouped together about what trends we see in African space development in terms of, sort of the relative change in the growth nationally, space agencies in countries like Morocco, Algeria, Nigeria, they're all taking really major efforts in addition to Egypt and Kenya that you mentioned. And then, so I think maybe that's one, is just the general trends. And then how can SGAC support the development in those countries, or what's currently going on, or what more would we like to see?
Okay, so for actually, as I always say, we can see also like the example in ASA or the ISS itself. For a good space ecosystem, we need partnerships, and when we're talking about partnerships, it's a lot of nations, especially for countries where, for example, where the economical background of the country is quite not the same, and it is the case for Africa, sadly. So the best way to do and to try further and go further is to actually partner together, like ESA style. And I guess it is also like the main idea behind the African Space Agency. Through SGAC, what's good is you get a network, you can get access to most of the countries around you if you want. You can brainstorm on ideas, you can come up with ideas, and also like as we're working on SDGs as well, in support of UN. So continents like Africa need these sustainable development goals to be achieved. And we can do that through space, and we can do that through partnership. And also like the MPOCs are all people like in Africa, I'm talking about Africa again, are all skilled people, and also the RCs, of course, are skilled people from different backgrounds that can do a lot of mentorship and can connect people together. And this is one of the rare things that I've seen in my life, which is getting access to network from all over, like for most of the countries that have like not participants but members, either executive or not, in SGAC. So this is my own experience since 2017, and trust me, believe me, since 2017 a lot of things were going on in my life, and I encountered a lot of amazing people because of SGAC. So and with them we started studies such as Space Fair in Africa, such as others in the SSPG group, or just like between MPOCs and RCs in the African region. So the network is everything that there is like special in SGAC. And there is another thing is like we also have partners which are from big companies and from agencies, and in the events you can get to know like people that are actually working there and decision makers. So this is something that really helps emerging countries in general, and members that want to get involved in space in a way or another. Because sadly, for the moment, and as like I'm talking from personal experience, sometimes when you don't have the nationality, it's hard to get to space, to some space jobs. So when you get involved from here and there with few activities and everything, it gets you prepared to get where you want. I'm sorry for talking too much, but this is something I really care about. So yeah, thank you.
That's perfect. David, from where you sit, looking over SGAC as a whole, anything to add about how you see the development in Africa and other developing nations worldwide?
I wanted to add a lot of also a couple of things, but Imane already mentioned everything, because that's really the key, I would say. Really, what she mentioned, definitely partnerships, but how can you make partnership happen? Only from my experience through the network. And this is what SGAC is doing. It provides that network, so this is what we do. For example, this year, we did already 2 events in the African region. In February, we did the African workshop. So it was in Ghana. So it was a really fantastic experience. And there we provided opportunity for our African members to get connected. And thanks to this workshop, honestly, we established more than 20 new partnerships together with SGAC, and that they were not aware about what was happening in Ghana specifically, but also in the African region and so on. In July, it's going to happen another event that is the SG Egypt. It's going to be a fantastic experience also over there, and we're establishing their partnership opportunities for our members locally to get connected, but only through our network. And also from an SGC perspective, the more activities are happening in the African region, the more from an executive level we can showcase those activities in the African region as well through the COPUOS, through the permanent observer status that we have at the United Nations. So again, I really think that through the network, it's really the best opportunity to make sure that we can do many more activities, especially in that region.
Yeah, thanks, David. We had a question from Jordan asking to share a little bit more about the partnership with Virgin Galactic. The focus there was really about new business model innovation, and sort of what could we see looking very, very blue sky, sort of out into the future of what might support them. And there was certainly some work on there. Certainly, if folks are interested in the results there, reach out to me. I think one of the elements, though, is partnerships can take a lot of different forms. And I think sort of speaking more broadly about partnerships with us, there are so many different ways that we can get involved with the private sector or with nonprofits. From the easy things where if you're posting new jobs for junior to mid-level people, can we share that within our networks? Hopefully it's a good news source of leads for you as a business. And for us, what more could you ask for than a really exciting job opportunity? All the way to joint creation of research in business model design. I mean, you look at some of the really methodologically based work that teams like Imane's are leading. Really, deep work that does get published in major journals and conferences, as well as, can we run competitions together, get excitement, come up with new ideas? I think part of the reason it's so broad is the sky is the limit. Each company is in its own stage of development, or nonprofit in its own stage of advocacy, and finding that overlap where it contributes directly to your organization's mission, as well as advances our organizational goals. It's one of the favorite parts of what Jose and I talk about as project group leads. So it's broad, but it's that way for a reason, because rather than limiting it to joint authorship of papers, there are so many different ways that we could work together. There's a question from Charles in Cameroon to Alina and to Imane. If you were to pass on a message for the involvement of young girls in space science, applications, and technology issues, especially in Africa, what would that message be?
So Alina, do you want to talk, or should I?
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Charles, for your question. In fact, I'm coming from the countryside where I didn't have any opportunities for the space sector, but I was just passionate about seeing the stars every night with my grandfathers, just looking at the meteorites and everything related towards eclipses and so on. So, and my grandparents, in fact, they were in the engineering sector, telecommunications. but I didn't have that opportunity for space exactly there. And I had to travel. So I traveled from the countryside to a different town, from that town, the village towards the capital, from the capital to Belgium, and now I'm in London. What I will say to young girls, and in fact, I will be having talks with young students, female students, women, and so on, is that it's not only about the education we have to think on, because we see the STEM being representatives, and we see more engineers being driven as from the male side rather than being ladies. But it's not just that. We have to make it sustainable for them to still be part of it, because I'm as well a young mom. So I have a 4-year-old daughter, and I still had the support from our managers, from my managers, to come back to my job. So support provided after, understanding that your job is still secure after you create your family as well, is important. But the main thing is to still follow your passion and to still follow your idea, because if you are passionate enough about it, you will meet the people that will lead you there, that will open up the doors for you. And I'm a mentor in another organization and another executive board on a woman in geospatial, and we are building the organization, having more than 2,000 members on that. And we see exactly that this happens worldwide. We see women, we see girls being passionate about mathematics, astrophysics, and physics as well, and everything related to engineering. But then they drop because they don't find their voice heard. No one supports them. And we see as well leaders being women leaders that don't come up to support them. And we create these mentoring groups, mentorship schemes, in order for more women to support women. And as well, calling out the advocates from the male sector to be more advocate for women's rights. So be passionate and follow that dream. And don't let the society change you. It is important to experience as much as you can, because as soon as we are young, it is very important to experience from so many other fields. So I'm an evangelist on geospatial, so I work in the water sector. I worked as well in disaster and emergency recovery. So loads of other ideas come in my head and in my specialty. But it's important to experience as much when you are young, and then follow what you really like in life, in your adult life. Thank you for the question. Now, Imane.
Thank you, Alina. Yes, I totally agree with everything Alina says. And for my part, coming from Africa, coming from North Africa, coming from an Arab country, it is really hard sometimes for a girl to dream and to see to see herself in a position that the society puts as a male position. I had the chance to have a mom that is doing this kind of job, and that was supportive and everything. So for me, never for young girls, never let anyone tell you that you cannot do something, because I started my space journey started when I was 8 years old. I used to love space and anything related to it. Used to love to stargaze and to go through encyclopedias, watch documentaries and stuff. But I always believed that I would someday work for space in a way or another. I did engineering and everything. I had women, had a lot of many colleagues and so on. But the thing is, sadly, a lot of women are pressured to not, society sometimes is really hard on them, and they are pressured to not really follow their dreams and to just do what women should do. But one thing is for sure, no one should ever give up on their dream, whether it's a girl or a boy, because if you believe in yourself, if you stand for yourself, if you find the right people around you, because when you talk about your dream, someone in the room would listen to you and might even come to you. So never be shy, and just go and talk about your dream and try stuff, do research, try, and you will get, and like for the young girls, they would get there one way or another, because I believe it's not hard. It's just like you should believe on what you're doing and love what you're doing and not be afraid of showing what you love doing. And people eventually will come to you. There is also other ways you can, like, like mentorship. Go look for mentorship programs and like that. A lot of things to do, and we have the chance of having a connected word. So even from the countryside or from the city or anything, anyone can get access to anything when they can, of course. So the main idea is to dare dreaming and dare to achieve your goals. That's all I can say. Thank you.
A huge thank you to both of you just for the strong words and the thoughtfulness and the guidance to everyone who's listening and working with both of you, not just today, but all throughout the year. And also, I think the emphasis that it's an obligation for all of us to make it an open and welcoming community for everyone, regardless of where you're from or what you look like. So thank you. We had a question about the SGAC project groups writ large. This was from Adrian in Guadeloupe, about if we could share a little bit more about the Ethics and Human Rights Project Group. I don't know if anybody's a member of it, or if David, you could speak to it from SGAC as a whole.
Yeah, I don't know if someone here is a member of the Ethics and Human Rights. If not, I can definitely share something more. I see no. Okay. Yeah. Okay, sounds good. So absolutely. So the Ethics and Human Rights Project Group. So if you see on the chat as well, there was also our project group coordinator, Alessandra Vernile, that she's our project group coordinator together with Joshua, and she shared her contacts there into the chat. I'm not sure if they are still there, but this is something that definitely you should do. So you should definitely reach out to our project coordinators that are Alessandra and Joshua. Maybe Andrew, I will share again the emails over there. In any case, so definitely reach out to them. And exactly, perfect. Thank you, Alina, for sharing the contacts. The Ethics and Human Rights of the project group, you can check it out on the website. In any case, you can see the different project groups and you can see what they do. But they do really lots of different activities. In any case, their vision is to make sure that space technology can contribute to the realization of the United Nations objectives on human rights, as well as the Sustainable Development Goals. So this is one side of their project. The other side is also to create a platform for the empowerment and justice from the perspective of the different peoples who make up the space sector and so on. So I would say, if you check on the website, you see also the different projects that they're currently doing. And they do projects like intersection of non-Earth activities and ethics. They do intersectional diversity and equity in the space sector, as well as they're talking about fundamental human rights, SDGs, space technology, as well as planetary exploration and ethics. So again, it's a really fantastic working group, and it's really active. So if you see there as well on the website, there are also the contacts of the leaders of that specific project group, where you can reach out and ask them any questions you would have, and if you want to join the project.
Yeah, that's great, David. And I think that really ties, ethics and human rights is so cross-cutting, especially in a high technology environment like space, that it raises a lot of questions, and not just technical ones. And the last question that we've got is from Ashley, asking about, is SGAC open to people from different backgrounds, and is commercial space open to people who are not from a STEM background? And I guess maybe certainly I can share. So for me, my background is primarily politics and business. And there's clearly a role for everyone, not just my two fields, but folks who focus on human rights, on medicine, in addition to orbital dynamics. All those elements are necessary for good business, as well as good policy in space. And things that are not just strictly space technology are a huge element. Certainly, the work that we present at UNCOPUOS And I think I would defer to those who have contributed to those efforts more. So maybe I'll just open the floor to non-technical contributions of SGAC to space. David, have you represented SGAC at COPUOS or any of the subcommittees? Anything you can share about that, or our counterparts who do present at those meetings?
Yeah, I attended. So the question is more related to if people can join SGAC without having a space background, right? So this is the question. I mean, there are lots of people joining SGAC from really different backgrounds. I would say from the psychological point of view as well, you know, we have psychologists that are working as well, maybe in the space field. We have doctors, for example, our co-chair is a doctor, for example, and is supporting SGAC since lots of years. We have really lots of different backgrounds. Also myself, even if I'm a space engineer, I always did business and politics in space, but I mean, this doesn't mean that you cannot join our community, because again, for example, if you see on the project groups, there is a project group that is on space medicine, no? So as for example, if you're a doctor, you have a passion for space, why not? You can come and join our project groups. Again, there are really lots of different backgrounds. You just need, again, as everyone is saying here, you just need to connect to our membership, connect to our MPOCs, connect to our regional coordinators, connect to all the people that you can, because they will definitely help you then to reach out to the specific person you need and be part of our community.
Yeah, thank you, David. And I think that's a perfect transition. If I could just invite our host João back to join. Any final questions, words from your end, João?
First of all, I would like to thank all of you for this truly inspiring session. The words from both the girls, women, they were inspirational. It's always great to hear stories like yours. Both the projects that were presented were the Pre-Accelerator is such an inspiring idea. I would like to thank José Pedro Ferreira for helping with this. I didn't before, but he was the bridge that I had for this connection, and what he told me about space generation was very, very interesting, but it lacks in comparison to what I heard today. The Pre-Accelerator program sounds amazing, and I have a very small question regarding the study, because what José told me before about the study that you did on the space readiness level is that you did want to increase the reach, as you mentioned. Yes. Because right now that is twofold for me, because you might mean that you want to reach more countries, or you might mean that you want to reach different targets, because now it was mainly students and young professionals from the SGAC network. And what I wanted to ask is, if you want to reach other targets, how could we help? What kind of targets would you like to reach?
Actually, there is two answers for two sides of the answers for this question. First, actually, we could only do 15 countries out of the 54 in Africa. So we would like to have more countries involved first, and second, decision makers to actually see and review a little bit what we are doing, because their insights will always be helpful. They will open our eyes on things that we didn't really think about before. So either it is young professionals from the space industry, or like with economical background, or politics, or international business, or data analysis, or anything. Anyone is welcome to, if they're interested, of course, is welcome to reach out to us, to discuss with us what we have done, what we can improve. And also we would like it to reach out to more countries, so we can get like a sort of report on much more countries, so we can reach out one of our goals, which is get our nations ready for an investment in space.
Thank you so much, Imane. Andrew, would you like to send us off, or should I?
Just very briefly from all of us at SGAC, just a thank you as well. This is the first time that I've had the opportunity to work with the Air Center. So I joke that João and Jose as my old friends, they're new friends, but I look forward to them becoming old and good friends. So a huge thank you for hosting. Thank you to everyone for joining. Hopefully you've heard loud and clear. The best way to get involved is to just get in touch, and we're so excited to welcome new members and extend from Networking Friday into our network. So thank you again, and João, I'll leave to you.
No, thank you for sharing, and I'm sure we will have a lot of opportunities to collaborate. Thank you all for coming and for presenting. Looking forward for the future.